Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School.
Welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist, Sunday, and school. And unlike the last time we had a guest, today is actually a Sunday.
Yeah.
And our guest today is Richard Carrier. So
The man,
welcome.
the myth, the legend, Richard Carrier. So we were talking about a verse here, Ezekiel 23:20.
No, 2023? Or is it the other way around?
23:20.
23:20.
Okay,
Yeah.
2320.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 23:20.
Yeah. So we
23:20.
read all of our versions for it, all of our translations, and then Richard was saying something about the Hebrew being the
It's more pornographic.
Yeah, more pornographic.
The real thing it says is more pornographic.
Yeah. So let's read this one. And she doted upon concubinage with them, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, and whose issue is
That's
like
worse.
the issue of
That's the worst. That is the worst
Concubinage.
translation so far.
concubinage.
That's very dishonest. Yeah.
I think we
So-
should use the word concubinage more often.
Let's not. That's a terrible word. Ugh. Okay. So So I guess all these translations suck, basically.
Basically.
What's the actual one then?
Well, I mean, there's no Bible that correctly translates it literally, but I mean, it is literally. If you read it, it's her lovers had dicks as big as donkeys and come like horses. Is basically, if you want to translate it into colloquial modern English. But yeah, so when you get to that part in Ezekiel, you should have me back on because
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite passages.
We need that colloquial modern English translation.
We do.
Absolutely. Well, anyways, we should begin then, unless you have some announcements that you make.
Yes. So yesterday I actually did a talk on, it was an introduction to textual criticism. And I already have the video edited. There was a crying baby.
There was a crying
baby. And it really sucked. And I was really not happy about that part.
Where was the crying baby?
In the crowd, like with with his parents or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it was really, really frustrating.
Wow.
But it's done. I got it done. So hopefully, and I obviously couldn't cut that out in post. That would have been almost impossible. with
Sure.
what I know.
Sure. Like auto-tune your voice after you've like removed it. And
Yeah.
So that video will be up on Thursday. Actually, it's about it's almost an hour. So I hopefully you guys like it. And then the other announcement is on Friday I'm doing a debate on the flood. Whether or not it happened, it's going to be on the Non Sequitur show. If you guys know that show, Richard, I think you've been on that show, right?
I cannot recall.
Okay.
I may have.
Well, it's a fantastic show, and I'm pretty excited to go on it. Although I haven't been in a debate before, so.
Oh, well, you basically just win points by making
Oh, it's
your
not
opponent...
gonna be. It's not gonna be pointed.
Oh.
but-
Yeah. Well, just make your opponent look bad.
Okay.
That's how you win debates.
Okay. He's gonna be arguing that the flood happened, so that's gonna be.
It won't be difficult.
Oh, he pulled a yo mama 1 point. No, it's.
All right. So those are all the announcements, and we can and we have people here, which is fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. And we are doing we're doing Numbers chapters 20, 21, and 22 today.
Yep. 3 chapters, 1 for each of us.
Yep.
Who's going first?
Yeah.
As
As
is
a tradition.
Uh,
And we also have drinks.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep, they do.
These,
Are you just gonna drink that straight?
Straight out of the bottle?
Yes.
Okay.
Sanitizing.
He's a pirate.
Yeah.
And I like how it looks like a bomb too. So.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Okay. Then I will begin. I have the King James Version of the Bible here.
I have the English Standard Version.
I also have King James.
Do you?
All right.
Or is it the New King James?
Oh, it just says New King James. Yes.
Okay.
I have the
Oh.
New King James.
Yes.
Which differs almost not at all from
Yep.
the original King James. But
So this is the old one, that's the new one, that's the newest one.
Yeah.
So this is the one that is the most authentic because God wrote the Bible originally in this language in this form.
Yeah,
and all other versions are just corruptions through backwards and forwards in time.
Well, that's why this book looks like a spell book.
Yeah, it's a great cover. That's why we use it. So I always point this out because there are a lot of those KJV only people. And my biggest issue with that is that the KJV was based on really late manuscripts. And it's awful.
Yeah, it wasn't based on a proper critical edition either. So they're not looking at all the manuscripts and trying to reconstruct the earliest version of the text. They're just, oh, we have these manuscripts, and we'll trust them. They just go from there.
It was initially based on the Textus Receptus, which was like a later edition of Erasmus's writing.
Yeah.
Really bad, because he didn't really have access to better manuscripts. So, I mean, it's forgivable. But what's not forgivable is the people who think that's a great translation.
Yeah, it is not.
Yeah.
But, of course, what really happened, as everybody knows, is that the Bible was originally written in English. This is actually the original version. And then Doctor Who took it in a TARDIS back in time, and someone did a really dishonest back translation into Greek. And all manuscripts are really just corrupted versions of that false translation from the King James Version.
It got retconned out of the TV show.
All right.
All right. So I'll begin at chapter 20. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there.
Okay, I have a comment.
Sure.
Immediately, I'm wondering why. So this is the new, you're reading the original King James. I'm reading the new King James. And the only difference in this verse is that it says people stayed
Instead
as opposed
of
to
abode.
people abode. So I guess they just figured abode is too...
Stayed.
Abode, no one knows what abode means. Just say stayed, just stay stayed,
Yeah.
okay. But otherwise everything's the same. Anyway, proceed.
And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people chode with Moses.
Chode. This says contended.
Oh, I prefer chode.
Chode.
I think chode is the superior reading.
All right, yeah.
And spake, saying, Would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord. So these last guys were like,
Wait, what? Say that again. How does that was worded?
Would God that we had died when
Would
our
God
brother...
that we had died.
Yeah. It's always so
That
weird.
is a terrible.
So different, dude.
Yeah.
That is a terrible way of doing
And
it.
this one's not even much better. Would that we had perished when our brothers perished before the Lord.
Now I want to get out my Septuagint. But anyway,
So,
yeah.
I mean, they're referencing...
So this says, if only we had died when our brethren died before the Lord. That makes
more
better
sense.
Yeah, that made much more
Oh, if only we had died. It's like, you people complain.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
all right. And why have you brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore?
This book is much more inclusive. It says animals. It does not
not
erase.
just
It
cat-
does not erase the existence of the other animals instead of just cattle.
Well, I think that
They're
cattle...
much more progressive.
much more progressive Bible.
I think that cattle is used specifically because it's a European translation for a period. At least I know that the Teutonic people would trade aurochs and cattle, and it didn't have any other real currency for a period of time. So maybe that's why they use cattle here.
Yeah, but they've got to have a whole bunch of lambs, and it can't be that the lambs are having lots to drink.
Right.
All right.
So far, you know what's really interesting? Here, and this, I don't know if you've seen this, Richard, but this is this appendix here. It breaks up the Torah into its separate authors.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So it's really
The camera.
yes. Here's to the
Yeah.
camera.
And that's who
There
wrote
you
the
go.
Bible by Friedman.
Yeah. So a lot of scholars do.
That's handy.
Yeah, it's really handy. A lot of scholars have their problems with Friedman, and I get it, but I still think this is a great work.
All right.
So what's really interesting here is that a redactor wrote the first part of this chapter, or like the first
How many verses?
half of the first verse. It just says verse 21a, so it's half of the first verse. So it's probably
So he added the zin.
I don't know. He probably added in that part, like the first sentence there, and Miriam died there may have been,
The original.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest of this, up until verse 13, let's keep that in mind, up until verse 13, it was all P, the priestly author.
Oh.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, but don't worry, then we're getting into J. His stuff is more lively.
That's good.
And then we're going kind of back and forth.
I'm getting sick and tired of pee.
As almost everyone does.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of drinking pee. Drink your urine and sleep underneath your seats.
You're
That's
in
the-
good hands.
Yeah. Okay.
And wherefore have ye made us to come up out of Egypt, to bring us in unto this evil place? Bring us in unto. Jeez. It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them.
Oh shit, son.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt drink, so thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered up the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock?
This is a whole Penn and Teller routine going on. All right.
Yeah. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also.
And he whispered to the person behind the rock, said, Turn on the faucet, turn on the faucet.
Yeah.
No, that's not in there. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah, which is not what God told him to do. God told him to speak to the rock, and he just beat the shit out of the
He
rock.
just beat the shit out of it.
Well, and in Christian allegorical reading, the rock is Jesus, right? So this is physically Jesus that Moses is hitting with a stick.
And is it? Because it's kind of weird, because I know that in the New Testament, when Jesus, when he calls, who did he call the rock? Peter?
Oh, Peter, the
Yeah.
word Peter means rock, and
Yeah.
in the original Aramaic, kephos is rock, yes.
Okay.
So his title, that name might actually be a title and not his name. But
Right, okay.
yeah, it means the rock. Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, yeah.
Dwayne Johnson 2020.
Yeah, right. So there could be a parallel there.
Yeah.
There was a legend, I don't remember which Apocrypha it's in, might be in the Talmud, I'm not sure, maybe one of the Midrashim, but there's a story that when Moses struck the rock, blood came out first, and then he had to strike it again to get water to come out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one.
Well, it says
read it.
that he struck the rock twice,
Yes.
so I'm assuming they just needed a reason for why he struck it twice.
Right, yeah.
Once we get...
He strikes it once and blood comes out. The whole congregation goes, ew! And it's like, wait, hold on. He strikes it again in the water. He's like, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong tap.
Dude, that's like how a pump works. Like the gross, rusty water comes out.
The gross rusty water comes out. That's how a pump works.
It was a
That's
pump.
true.
Yeah, this was all a scam. There was really a pump there.
They
And
just didn't understand pumps back then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that they had that particular kind of pump yet, but
Ancient aliens.
it would
they
take
were-
the ancient aliens. We've given you the force pump.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because ye believed me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. So it picks up from here because we're ditching P.
Yes. So here's the interesting part. So obviously, this parallels the story. This is an exact rewrite of the story in Exodus, where Moses is getting water from the rock, but it's at a completely different location. So I pulled this up here. So I'm gonna read a bit here. And this is after he basically he shows them a side-by-side comparison of the water from the rock in Exodus 17 and the one that we just read. So I'm going to read over this a bit. The language here has so much in common with the P language of the Korah story that the similarity should be apparent even in translation and even to those who have never known about biblical sources before. It refers to the congregation and to the community. It has Yahweh speak to Moses and to Aaron. I was actually going to point that out, but I forgot. But that's the important part. He spoke to Moses and to Aaron. It says that the glory of Yahweh appeared. As a sign of distress, it says they fell on their faces. It takes place in the front of the tent of meeting. It is concerned with signs of holiness. Also, it uses the word expire in reference to death, which he noted in the P flood story earlier. The point is that we can observe the priestly writer at work. We can see what he kept of the story. We can see how he put it in his own language, and we can see what he changed. The main thing is that hitting the rock was good in Exodus, and it's bad in Numbers. It was an act of obedience in Exodus. It is ultimate disobedience in Numbers. It is Moses' worst offense. His punishment is presumably the worst thing.
Other than his murder. Apparently.
Yeah, other than that murder. Yeah. Yeah, that's just passing right over.
How dare you strike the rock that I told you merely to speak to? I mean, the murder thing, that's fine. But this, no, this is it. You're doomed now.
Unacceptable. So
that's so
the people can't go into the land. And Aaron, who doesn't seem to have anything, and Aaron, it shows him as not having done anything wrong. He suffers the same penalty on account of what Moses has done. The punishments are carried out later in the P narrative, and then Aaron and Moses both die shortly before the people enter the Promised Land.
So why does it have to be a rewrite? Why can't it just be that he used his second charge of that spell on his magical staff?
Well, it's a rewrite because we know it's a rewrite because of the addition of initially it was Moses and then it became Moses and Aaron, and also the language changes that differ from E, who wrote the previous one.
So this is P's shot in the dark.
Yeah. So
interesting. This is a redaction. This is just like Matthew to Mark or something like that.
Yeah.
So P's maybe more of a Calvinist, right? Maybe more of like
I highly doubt P was a Calvinist.
Maybe like a little more pessimistic, you know?
Well, that would be a much more complicated Doctor Who story because we've got different versions of the English got back translated. Anyway, okay, so
It's because of the Daleks.
The Daleks did it.
Yeah.
The Daleks did it.
Yeah. So I had something.
That's the lost verse of the Bible.
You had something else to point out?
I thought I had something else, and I forgot because Chris shouted something from the back. Okay, let's keep going.
We've completed the P section of this chapter.
And now we're going to J, and it's going to bounce back and forth between authors.
We're in, okay.
Yeah, now we're in J.
Yeah. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Already cooler. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and how we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
That's what I do here.
Yeah.
Wait, go on. We're in Kadesh. What does it say then?
A city in the uttermost of thy border.
So they're at a city and there's no water to drink? This is kind of weird.
Yeah. Well,
that rock was totally a fucking pump, and they just hid it from the congregation and did this whole magic trick thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, no.
I bet it was
I'm
a
making
fucking I mean, if you'd never seen a fire hydrant before and you were like...
It looks like a rock.
Yeah, it looks like a rock.
It's a weirdly shaped rock, but okay.
It
Yeah.
looks like petrified wood. Oh, wait, we haven't figured out what that is. Even
Well,
bigger.
why would you think that the aliens wouldn't have different shaped fire hydrants?
Please show evidence for your claim.
There's an entire show on the History Channel.
Yeah,
it's like
no, what it
9
would be,
seasons long.
It's
Oh,
like
that's
this,
ridiculous.
A dodecahedron that it's a replicator that produces water, and they just rock is the best thing that they can.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
absolutely.
The dodecahedron, of course, is biodegradable. That's why there's no.
Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields, or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand, nor to the left, until we have passed thy borders. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out again. And the children of Israel said unto him, We'll go by the highway. And if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it.
Wait, hold on, guys. Apparently, we're having sound issues.
We are?
Sound issues.
Yeah.
Great.
Alright, what kind of sound issues do we have?
Added something. Hold on.
You added something. Why would you mess with it? It was good before.
Oh, well then. I'll get rid of it. Don't worry, it's real easy.
What was it?
There's a huge, spike sometimes. I'm listening to the audio, so I'm trying to get rid of that. There you go. It shouldn't be that.
Okay. So hopefully the sound is better.
I can listen to it.
Okay,
Oh, I
but
see.
yeah, I am asking the chat. Chat, is the sound back
Sound
to
is
normal?
fine.
Someone was asking for me to do a mic check.
Yeah, I think.
Am I still good?
I think all of us doing a mic check was a good idea. Sounds good now. Was cutting out. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
We're all good now. Good. Then,
Nothing sounds bad, guys. I literally just listened to it on my phone.
yeah.
Yeah,
we're
someone
all
else
good
says that
now.
their
Yeah,
sound is fine too.
it's all
so
good now.
That might be a local problem. Okay.
Yeah. I
Don't add anything.
I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand.
Hold on, like what they've described here is sending messengers. So this whole conversation must have taken days. Like,
Yeah.
like the messenger comes back, he says no, or else he's going to kill you. All right, repeat what I said, and then go back and say this. Okay, he comes back, he says no. If you do it, we're going to kill you. Like, this looks like a really complicated method.
Well, imagine this in a modern context. Say that you've got some country, Romania,
yeah.
and the British are marching.
This is Syrian refugees all over again. They want to march through the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we're just going to kill you all when you
Want
come
to take
in.
our jobs?
That would be funny if that was in here. We'll build a wall.
Gerbs.
Yeah, a wall. Where was I? Oh, yeah. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out with against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus, Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him.
So this is the end of a P section. Oh, sorry, the end of a J section.
Chapter or verse 21.
Yes.
Okay.
And now we're going. Now the very next verse was written by a redactor who was probably trying to put. Who was trying to kind
Connect
of
them.
transition the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going back to P.
Okay.
Yay.
So the next verse.
And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor.
Okay. And then let's see. Okay.
Now it's
We're
P.
good. We're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Proceed.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter unto the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor. and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded.
This kind of sounds like a murder.
Yeah, it does sound like a murder.
You know, and rub him out. He shall go to rest there.
Yeah.
If you understand my meaning. He shall be,
Sleeping
gather
with
him up
the
to his
fishes.
people.
He will expire like a magazine subscription.
Yes. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there in the top of the mount.
You know, skipping steps, but just he just died. Yeah.
That was it.
It's like God's all like, and he's gonna die there, right? Wink, wink, right? He's gonna die. You get it? You get it?
Yeah. And Moses and
Man.
Eleazar came down from the mount, and when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel.
Wow, that rock is still supplying them lots of water, apparently.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Eliezer and Lazarus are the same name, incidentally. For those who know from the New Testament, Lazarus is just a different way of transliterating Eliezer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That is very useful information, because we ran into Joshua earlier that was spelled differently, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a, Jehoshua. And,
Yeah, Jehoshua.
Right. Yeah.
And Yeshua and
Well,
Joshua.
it's like Jacob, and James is Jacob. James is just a weird English version of Jacob.
Is
so
it?
It's the same name.
I didn't even know that.
And Jesus is Joshua. Which
Well,
you know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's no difference there. Yeah, there's a lot of these. They use different. Miriam is Mary, so Mary and Miriam are the same name. So there's a lot of these where they conceal name similarities. You know, this identical names by spelling them differently in English, which I think is kind of
Dishonest.
I don't know if it's dishonest. It's
I think
misleading. Yes, it conceals information for people who don't know the original language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you should never do.
Anyways,
Anyways,
I don't expect people to learn ancient Hebrew.
Right, yeah. Well, the whole point of a translation is supposed to make that accessible to
Yeah.
folks. And so, but of course, people who are translating the Bible are going for ideology rather than scholarly value.
Yeah.
I think.
by the way, if you're enjoying the stream so far, we've just concluded chapter 20. Give it a like. It helps us out. And
Yes.
share it with your friends, family, neighbors, ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends. You know,
Yeah, 'cause
strange
people have those
children.
too.
Yeah. Any family pets.
Any family pets. Share them with your pets. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then we're going into chapter 21.
Yep.
So, chapter 21, the first 3 verses are from J. When the Canaanite, the king of Arad, who lived in the Negeb, heard that Israel was coming by the way of
This is interesting.
Atharim. What's up?
So, what does yours say? Canaanite?
Yes,
Instead of-
when the Canaanite.
Oh,
When
okay.
mine says,
I
and
don't-
when King Arad the Canaanite.
I don't see Negreb in here. That's an interesting thing.
Who lived in Negeb?
Oh, it just says dwelt in the south.
Oh,
Mine says dwelt in the south.
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
That's
sure
weird.
that's more original.
I'll bet Negreb is something they...
Okay, so I think this is just
Unless it's the other way around.
It's
Maybe
an-
it says Negreb and they translated it into the south.
yeah, because maybe that was just the name of the area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what-
Negreb is much more specific than in the south.
Yeah. Okay. Was coming by the way of Atharim. He fought against Israel and took some of them captive. And Israel vowed a vow to the Lord and said, "If you will indeed give this people into my hand, then I will devote their cities to destruction."
Or otherwise known as utterly destroy their cities.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Lord heeded the voice of Israel.
And supplied them with
And then-
incendiary bombers. No, sorry.
Alien technology.
Alien technology.
And gave over the Canaanites, and they devoted them and their cities to destruction. So the name of the place was called Hormah, which apparently translates to
Utter destruction, yes.
Yep. Okay. That was a very quick narrative. Okay. Then this next section is on the bronze serpent, and this was looks like it was. Here's something cool. The first part of the first verse was written by a later redactor, but then after that, it's E.
E.
Yeah, E, the lowest.
Okay.
All right. So from Mount Hor, they sent out by the way to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom, and the people became impatient on the way. So I'm guessing that first sentence was written by a redactor, and then now we're into E. And the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? And this is like
didn't you say this before? You guys keep saying this.
This is like the 5th or 6th time this has happened
Right.
in our reading. Like, it's like, okay, have you guys not gotten it yet? Like, and like the group of people.
You and all your wizardry, cast another spell. Yeah. No, they don't even say that. They say like, "Why'd you do this?" Rather than like, "Hey, we need more magic, please."
What wasn't really interesting to me is that the size of the congregations, the size of this group of people gets smaller and smaller and smaller every time by like a little bit. Or there was that one time where he killed like half the damn people that didn't agree with him. Or no, he killed all the people he didn't agree with him. That happened to be half of the people he was with.
Once and they kill half
I wonder if anybody has ever done. I've always wanted to make a movie that does the whole Bible, but does it literally exactly as what actually happens in the story.
Well,
I don't know
we
if
should.
anyone's ever really done
If you
that.
talk about literally, then a lot of it didn't happen at all.
Well, no, I don't mean historically. I mean literally by the text. Like treat the text as
Oh,
if it were
okay.
like exactly what happened, and then actually depict this. Because
Okay.
a lot of this people will be like, "This is boring and weird. Why is this happening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this especially is a very boring book. At least the start of it. Oh my god. And I am dreading when we get to First Chronicles. Because
What?
the first 9 chapters are a genealogy.
Uh,
And, like all of it. Just straight up genealogy.
We can just auctioneer voice through it. Right?
we could
auctioneer
whole-
voice.
yeah, we
The
could
whole
do that.
genealogy.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's continue here.
Or you do it in a sexy voice, and then so and so begat
Begat.
so and so,
And then he died.
and then he died.
Yeah. But someone's saying in the chat, we can't just skip it. The whole point is to say we've read the whole Bible, so we got to read the whole Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For there is no food and no water, and we loathe this worthless food. Wait.
Yeah, this worthless
They
food.
just contradicted each other.
This
They-
says bread. It says no food and no water, except this bread, which is shitty as fuck.
So they have no food, but they do have food. They
Well,
just don't like the food.
I
They're
have a
talking
story
about
to
the
tell.
manna.
When I was in the Coast Guard and I was training in sonar on in this naval base in the Fleet Anti-Submarine Warfare Training Center Pacific, which was in San Diego. The food was terrible. Of course, if you were E7 and above, you got the better food, and if you were an officer, you got the much better food. So everybody who's E6 and below got this crap cafeteria food, like green hot dogs and moldy buns, and it was like really bad. And I remember there was a time when this is the kind of thing where like only E7 and above and officers could use the elevators in the buildings. Everyone else had to use the stairs and things like this.
E7 is that like
That's like
ranking?
senior chief. Yeah, it's a high-ranking enlisted as opposed to officer. So it was very class division. It was very like, it was a tiered class system. And we got this crappy food, and there would never be enough of it to eat either. And I remember the CO of the base was like complaining. It was like, I don't understand what your complaints. Like, you say the food is terrible and there's not enough of it. And it's like, these are not inconsistent requests. Like, like, we want more food and for it to be edible.
But this is not like that.
No.
Because this
There is
they
no
have
food.
no food.
And this bread is terrible.
Yeah.
And I like the new, King James says, "Our soul loathes this worthless bread." I like that.
No, that you're
That'd be a
exaggerating.
great- I want to get like a knit sign, like a embroidered sign. You know, like those homie signs
Yeah.
people have on their walls. Like
Yeah.
put that in the kitchen.
and with the verse, because I always have like a verse, and there's like numbers, 21, 5.
Well, coming up in a
Our
Jewish
soul loathes
family,
this worthless bread.
when you're eating the matzah for Passover for 8 days, yeah, your soul loathes that worthless bread.
God, I also grew up in a Jewish family, and I fucking hated that stuff. It was so bad. Like, I can't eat matzah, like, at all. It's triggering.
Triggered.
Yeah, hashtag triggered.
All right.
It was bad. All right. Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, so that many people
More
of
deaths.
Israel died.
This is like Hunger Games or Maze Runner or something.
This is like snakes on a plane.
snakes on a plane.
Literally
Except
snakes on a
snakes
plane.
on a desert.
Fiery
Snakes on a
serpents. So what could fiery serpents be?
Well, let's finish this section, and then we'll.
Meteors.
Probably
Meteors.
meteors.
Probably meteors.
Maybe
It's probably
meteors, or like, a laser beam.
Aliens. Ancient
Yeah,
aliens.
a
Okay.
laser beam from space.
All right,
Yeah.
proceed.
And the people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us." So Moses prayed to the people, and the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and everyone who is bitten, when he sees it, shall live." So Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole. And if a serpent bit anyone, he would look at the bronze serpent and live.
That sounds an awful lot like idol worship.
That also sounds an awful lot like their.
It is a
weird-
violation of one of the commandments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also sounds an awful lot like their weird solution to leprosy, with the bird and the killing of it and dipping it into blood of another
the thing
bird.
that perplexes me is like why there's what do they claim, like 1 million people or hundreds of thousands of people, and they can't kill snakes? Like what's the matter with these people?
But they
And
were fiery snakes.
They were complaining about no food, and God sent them all these delicious snakes, and they just couldn't handle it. Like
So-
they can just kill all the snakes and eat the snakes, and they go, "Oh, thanks God for sending us food."
So what's really interesting is that this story is since the Torah, or everything except Deuteronomy, was written for the most part after the Deuteronomistic history. There's a story in 2 Kings that talks about, I think it was Hezekiah, during his reforms, he destroyed a bronze serpent that apparently Moses had made. So
Interesting.
yeah, I have to look more into this specific one, but there's clearly a connection there. It's like
Right.
crystal clear. But I want to look more at that because it sounds fascinating. I want to figure out what they could have meant by what the serpent was. And if they actually did have a serpent idol, where did it initially come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
especially if there's a serpent in the Garden of Eden, what's going on there?
That
right?
too, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got these evangelists all the time, and they're talking constantly about how the serpent image is evil and it pops up all the time. Well, here God literally tells people
And then
to
go
make
around
a
waving flags that says, "Don't tread on me with
Yeah, don't shut up.
Yeah, exactly. This one has pictures in this Bible, I think it'd be great if we just turned it and Gadsden flag right there.
Right, yeah. All right.
All right, carry on.
Carry on.
Yes. And the people of Israel set out and camped in Oboth. And they set out from Oboth and camped at Abarim in
This
the
says EJ Abarim.
EJ.
EJ.
Would it be EJ or EA Abarim?
It might be EA because
EA Abarim.
yeah, that could be it. Yeah, so that makes sense. In the wilderness that is opposite Moab toward the sunrise.
Thanks. Handy intro.
From there they set out and camped in the valley of Zered. From there they set out and camped on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that extends from the border of the Amorites. For the Arnon is the border of Moab between Moab and the Amorites. Therefore, it is said in the book
Well, they're
of
telling
the
you how to
wars.
draw your map for your role-playing game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
You can
what's
find the treasure and stuff.
So what the hell is the Book of the Wars of the Lord?
Yeah, Book of the Wars
Yeah,
of the Lord.
it's a thing that did not survive, right?
Apparently,
It must be.
Well, Yahweh is the war god.
yes, Yahweh is the war god.
It's his spell book, guys.
In
It's his spell book.
in ancient Ugarit, they had a bunch of gods. They had Baal, they had El, they had Asherah, they had Yahweh, and Yahweh was a war god. And they had some other ones too that I can't recall. And these are outlined in the poems,
I see,
Karet and Nakat. So, and I'm probably butchering those, so whatever. But it's so that might be a tradition that flowed down.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm not 100% sure. So, when it comes to like canonical studies, there is no mention of a Book of the Wars of the Lord in anything. In any books on ancient canon that I have read,
Right.
none of them talk about Book of the Wars of the Lord. So, but it's obviously a pre-existing book.
And it would be wars that the Lord has engaged in, or
Maybe, or the stuff that he ordered.
oversaw, or right, or that he ordered.
Yeah.
so.
I'm sure Wikipedia has an entry.
This god, besides being a war god, he's like a general or something.
Yeah, he was he was seen as a war god, but also as a warrior himself.
This is starting to sound a lot like Scientology.
Yeah. Hence the replicator earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this entire journeying narrative is from a redactor. This entire thing is just kind of a guy that saw all the stuff later and wanted to put it all together. So there's a reason
You mean this quotation of the Book of the Wars of the Lord is
included in that. Yeah.
Because that then sounds like a marginal note that someone says, "Oh yeah, I read this in the Book of the Wars of the Lord."
Perhaps, yeah, that's definitely possible. Although I do know that in ancient Israel, they were very, not ancient Israel necessarily, but the ancient Hebrews, they were really meticulous. Like they had this huge reverence for things being written properly. Like I think they were called grammarians. They took like the classics, like Homer and what's his name, Virgil, and then some other people, and they would rewrite some of these things along with Old Testament books, and it was always very well done, very few mistakes. And of course that's a later tradition, but from what I understand, from what I've read, they had a reverence for that for a long time, since they began writing down their...
Well, if you look at the Kabbalistic tradition, like with the Sefer Yatzirah or like the Zohar, there's constant references to the language and the written language. Like they...
Oh yeah, because it has numerological meaning.
Yeah, basically they treat it like people treat the runes today, right? Where they have special meanings ascribed to each individual character, and like you're meant to meditate on it.
Yeah.
And,
Right. Yeah.
whatever. It's an interesting cult.
Well, it's all
scheme.
secret code for you to find and unlock the alien spacecraft.
Yeah, I mean they're
no one's
just
figured it out.
they're showing you.
Done that yet?
Yeah, they're showing you the writing system that's used on all the screens.
That's right. Yeah. This is really the instruction manual for the spaceship, but it's just written in a different language.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things, because we were just talking about numerology, is that ancient Hebrew canon, when they were first starting to canonize, they had either 22 or 24 books, and they always kept it at that, one corresponding to each letter in their alphabet.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting how, like, just the mindset that these ancient people had.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, the Book of Enoch, we got to leave it out, but that was the best fan fiction ever.
Yeah, but the Book of Enoch that we have is probably between 1300 and 1600 Italian creation. It's not good. There's
yeah,
one
no,
book of Enoch that actually comes from Jewish sources, and then there are 2 other books of Enoch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Why would you would even?
Why would you do a second one? The first
They
one
didn't
was
like
perfect.
they didn't like the original fan fiction, and they wanted to improve it. Yeah.
All right, let's continue. So this
Yeah.
is what it says.
In the book of the Wars of the Lord.
Yep, of the Lord. Oh my God. Waheb in Supha and the valleys of the Arnon.
I love this.
I thought you were making something up there when you said Wahab and Suppa.
I love the footnote here says ancient unknown places. Thanks.
Great.
And then and then it says Vulgate reads what he did in the Red Sea.
What?
All right, continue.
and the slope of the valleys that extends to the seat of Ar and leans to the border of Moab.
Oh, this is weird. That this says Waheb in Supna, the brooks of the Arnon, and the slope of the brooks that reaches to the dwelling of Ar, and lies on the border of Moab.
Okay. So,
Dwelling of Ar is obviously where that's some source where they went and talked to or something.
So we're just.
I'm making that up, but people didn't know. But anyway.
So we're just kind of getting a weird explanation of where this place is. And from there, they continued to beer. Me too.
Beer!
Me too. I also continued.
This is where the flying spaghetti monster comes in, where the beer fountains or whatever.
Okay, so beer apparently.
They stumbled into the spaghetti monster's paradise.
Beer apparently means well.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it is. So they continued to well. That is the well of which the Lord said to Moses, "Gather the people together so that I may give them water." Then Israel sang this song. Spring up, oh well.
Everybody sing! Everybody!
Sing to it. The well that the princes made, that the nobles of the people dug, with the scepter and with their staves. And from the wilderness they went on to Matana, and from Matana and Nahaliel.
Okay, this says something different. This says, "Spring up, O well, all of you sing it. The well the leaders sank, dug by the nation's nobles, by the lawgiver, and with their staves."
Whoa, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the log, I have with the scepter.
Staves, scepter. Okay.
No. I also have staves.
Yeah.
Mine says nothing about a lawgiver.
Yeah, by the lawgiver with their staves.
By the direction of the lawgiver.
I have with the scepter.
Oh,
and
yours
with
says by the direction of the lawgiver. That's interesting. So in the new version, they took out direction of. They
Yeah.
just put by the lawgiver, which...
The new book is directionless.
No, I'm still confused on this
This
because
is wild.
mine says with the scepter and with their staves. Is the scepter the lawgiver?
Oh.
I
The
guess.
scepter would be metonymy for the one who holds the scepter, which would be the lawgiver.
Is it?
I mean, it could be. I mean, that's clearly what this translator thinks.
Well, it's a phallic symbol, and it's a patriarchal.
My dick is a phallic symbol.
Well, legitimately, it's a phallic symbol, and
Did
it's
you
a
know a
patriarchal
phallus was a phallic symbol?
structure within their religion. So the lawgiver would be the most phallic one, right?
That's a
Like the
weird
eldest
way of
male,
putting it.
right?
Digging a well with their penises? Is that what we're talking about now?
Essentially,
It's like that scene in Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny.
it's an act.
Where we was doing the show boner push-ups.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's a good way of training for digging holes with your dick. Yeah.
Continue on.
And from the wilderness, they went to Matana and Nahaliel, whatever. From Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley lying in the region of Moab by the top of Pisgah,
Pisgah.
that looks down on the desert.
Toward Jeshimon, mine says.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very
Mine
different.
just says wasteland and ends it there.
Oh, yeah, mine also says Jeshimon in the notes. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorites.
This never
saying,
works out.
"Let me pass through your land. We will not turn aside into field or vineyard. We will not drink the water of a well We will go by the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sion
Of course.
would not allow Israel to pass through his territory.
We've been through this before.
Yep, this all happened. He gathered all his people together and went out against Israel to the wilderness and came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel defeated him with the edge of the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, as far as the Amorites, for the border of the Amorites was strong.
They built a wall. They had Trump there.
Mine isn't saying the Amorites anymore. It's saying the children of Ammon.
And this says the people of Ammon.
Okay, so that makes sense.
It's weird that it was children of Ammon, then it becomes people of Ammon, and then it just becomes Ammon. Oh, let's just say Ammonites.
Yeah. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel settled in all the cities of the Amorites in Heshbon, and in all the villages, for Heshbon was the city of Sion.
And then they had a place to live, and it was happiness forever,
It was
and that's
great.
the end of the book.
It was great. Nothing else needed. Just
Yep.
Hey, we found our Holy Land.
and
Thump.
and don't forget all the stuff I said about slavery. That's important.
Yeah.
Remember to own human beings.
Always remember.
Yeah. For Heshbon was the city of Sion, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and taken all his land out of his hand, as far as the Arnon. Oh, okay, he's doing that thing.
Don't worry about me.
Therefore,
Don't mind me. I'm
Therefore,
just engaging in sorcery on the side.
Therefore, the ballad singers say, "Oh, another crappy song."
Well, that last song didn't sound very good.
No, it did not. Okay.
Maybe it was just your voice.
Therefore, the ballad singers say. This is interesting. Okay.
Try to make up a tune for this one.
No, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to want to die. Come to Heshbon, let it be built. Let the city of Sion be established, for fire
Be repaired,
came.
it says.
Be repaired.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't say what you're. Mine says, "Wherefore they that speak in proverbs."
Oh, they lit R on fire. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. that nice guy in the place that they met.
The wizard.
The wizard.
For the fire came out of Heshbon, flame from the city of Sion. It devoured Ar of Moab and swallowed the heights of Arnon. Woe to you, O Moab! You are undone, O people of Chemosh. He has made his sons fugitives and his daughters captives to an Amorite king, Sion. So we overthrow them. Heshbon as far as Dibon perished, and we laid waste as far as Nopah. Fire spread as far as Medeba.
This sounds
Jesus Christ.
This sounds like the Lord of the Rings.
And the white cat.
It'd be a great rap song, man. Like,
be a great
man, we set all your asses on fire and destroyed all your shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Richard, please don't rap.
Well, I know I'm not rapping, but yeah.
Only because you can't.
That's exactly right. I can't sing either. It's not like there's a...
It's okay, neither can I, but I was a singer in a band once upon a time.
Oh yeah.
It
It was bad.
It was really bad.
But anyways.
It was called
Mine says they
Hey,
shot at
well,
them.
what do you want to cover now? The king.
the next section.
King Og,
King
King
Og.
Og.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting there.
like
okay.
Mike Lou and Og from the island.
Yes.
We're not there yet.
Exactly like that. It's the next verse here. Thus Israel lived in the land of the Amorites, and Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they captured its villages and dispossessed the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to Moses, "Do not fear them, for I have given him into your hand, and all his people and his land, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who lived at Heshbon."
Wow.
So they defeated him and his sons and all his people until he had no survivors left, and they possessed his land.
Jesus.
They killed.
So we've got some
everyone.
genocide going on.
They
All right,
just keep
all right.
killing people.
Yeah, just murder them all, kill them all.
Literal genocide.
Yeah.
This is just something for them to do.
This
until-
tribe shall exist no more.
Yeah. This is just something for them to do until they get
I know,
to
right?
the promised land. Yeah. They're just kind of killing time.
Killing time
As
by
long
killing
as
folks
other
and tribes and just taking their land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it very strange
Very
that they
greedy.
go from complaining about not having food.
To suddenly
So-
being this like defeaters in war.
Yeah. It's like, how do you do that with shitty
Cannibalism.
water and
Are,
shitty food?
are they eating
cannibalism.
the people? Are they eating the Amorites? It doesn't say that they don't.
Well, here's my fan fiction. So this wizard that they met at Ar,
Yeah.
Ar the wizard at the dwelling, they got some kick-ass spells from him that allowed them to win, and then they set him on fire because they want to get rid of this guy. I don't know. I'm sure there's a story in there somewhere. Anyway,
All right, so then chapter 22, and remember, we have a bunch of watchers. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. And if you haven't already, leave a like on the video. Really helps us out. We really appreciate it.
Share.
And share. It's very helpful. Yes, thank you, Chris, for posting that right there.
And yes, if you haven't yet, set up an altar to us and pray to us. It doesn't help us out, but
But you can do it, and we'd appreciate it.
yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So other than that, chapter 22, Richard, would you like to
I
have
will.
the honors of reading chapter 22?
let's do this. Let's do the thing. Okay. Then the children of Israel moved, for some reason, and camped in the plains of Moab on the side of the Jordan across from Jericho. Oh, we're getting close here. Now Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites, and Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was sick with dread because of the children of Israel. It's like vomiting and stuff. So Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this company will lick up everything around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field." And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. That's like a footnote or something. But anyway, then he sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor at Pethor, which is near the river. I think it's just near the river. The footnote says that is, comma, the Euphrates.
Okay.
The Euphrates? Okay. It's like, this is, all right. In the land of the sons of his people to call him, saying, "Look, a people has come from Egypt. See, they cover the face of the earth,
Oh, shit.
and they're settling next to me." In other words, there's shit tons of these folks. Send some reinforcements.
So
Where did all
actually,
these Egyptians come from when we wiped out all of their firstborn and like a good portion of their livestock
And, yeah.
and their soldiers and their pharaoh?
The-
And they were
and-
very smart to steal all the jewelry, which they can't eat, nor spend anywhere, which was, anyway.
you know what I think is kind of interesting? It says that these people were all about the face of the earth, right? They were everywhere. So a literalist should take that literally, right? But that's impossible. So I think
It's a line of Israelites all the way back to the Americas.
fucking
across
everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. And this kind of
a whole boat bridge across the Atlantic.
so I think this kind of demonstrates that anyone who's like when they speak about the whole earth in the Bible, that can't be the whole earth because the language keeps going the same way, but it's clearly meant for just like this region, like the ancient Near East. So, like for example, someone who's claiming the flood was worldwide, the language they're using is the same language
right.
that
yeah.
talks about something that obviously couldn't have been actually worldwide.
But is it the
I think-
same author?
I think actually Moab was just lying and saying
Partially.
that they're covering the whole earth. That's how many there are. Come send reinforcements. The whole earth.
Stupid Jews.
That's how many.
I think it's just
fucking everywhere.
hyperbolic.
Yes, exactly.
No, I know. Illuminati, run by the Jews.
Run by the Jews,
Yeah.
the Illuminati. You mean like the 7 Jew bankers in the middle of the earth? That's the David Cross joke. Yes. He has this thing like,
That's obviously what happened.
I
guys.
know all you people have horns and you have like 7 Jew bankers that rule the world at the center of the earth. This is his like description of like anti-Semites in
what
his
I forgot?
hometown.
I forgot my pouch of Jew coins.
Jew coins. Very good.
I like how they'd give us shekel.
I hear you
well,
can
not
eat
shekels.
those, that they're
but
yummy chocolate.
the chocolate ones.
Those are good though.
Those are
Yes,
great.
we're very well informed. We're
But
very well informed.
It's a very
okay.
good Jewish snack.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Both of your guys' batteries, just the new ones that I put in, just died simultaneously, and I just switched them out. You're fine. But
Okay.
you're off for 2
Oh.
seconds. Not you.
We're
Richard.
fine.
The ones that came with yours still work.
Wait, which batteries?
Inside.
We
there's
have
no
a thing.
batteries.
Okay, so
Don't they have?
sorry about 2 seconds of
They're
nothing.
wireless with
Yeah.
wireless.
Why don't those have wall power? I think ours need batteries. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yours will last
I used to be a
forever.
tech long ago, and that doesn't make any sense to me. But all right,
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, so let's continue
all right,
on.
all right. Let's see. There's millions and millions of them. All right. Therefore, please come at once. Curse this people for me, for they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the diviner's fee in their hand.
The diviner's fee.
The diviner's fee
What
in their
verse is that?
hand. They needed to hold the money in their hand for some diviner. And they came to Balaam, was probably the diviner they're talking about, and spoke to him the words of Balak, and he said to them, lodge here tonight, and I will bring back word to you, as the Lord speaks to me. So the princes of Moab stayed with Balaam.
So they literally now seek out a different wizard.
Exactly. And have a gay orgy, and then therefore, then God came to Balaam and said, who are these men with you? God doesn't know. Anyway, it's like, you don't know? Aren't you God?
Why wouldn't he?
So wait, hold on. So hold on. So in
There's a lot of stuff God doesn't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God
yeah.
asks too many questions.
yeah. So
What need has
Stop.
God of questions?
humans work in mysterious ways.
Copious need, apparently.
So what I find really interesting is that a lot of the time apologists will say that, for example, when like I actually messaged you, I don't know if it was a few months ago or a few weeks ago, I forget, but I messaged you about Matthew 26:50 and it either being a question or a statement.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, people who translate it to a question usually say that it's rhetorical, that it's a rhetorical question. But are we also applying rhetorical questions to God when he has all these questions? Like he asked Adam, "Where are you?" He asked Abel, "Where's your brother?"
Right.
Yes,
now he's
this
asking
person.
this.
Who are these people?
Yeah,
It's
like,
like-
are these really rhetorical questions? Like, really, do these sound like rhetorical questions to you?
God is a bore, if that's the case. But all right. Who are these men with you? So Balaam said to God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent to me, saying, look, a people has come out of Egypt.
Hold
and
on,
they,
I have to say this. My translation says, "Behold, behold."
If you want a Behold
Oh,
t-shirt, you can get that on our
Behold,
Yeah.
Teespring.
If you want a Behold T-shirt, it's on our Teespring. Okay,
Very good.
Let's continue.
then you'd have the other version of the shirt that just says, look. Look, a people has come out of Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Here's that face of the earth again. Come now, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to overpower them and drive them out. And God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to give me permission to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Then Balak again sent princes, more numerous and more honorable than they. We need some higher ranking folk.
How do we have this honorable decision? How do we, are there
Honorable is
points?
rank. It's a matter of rank. So
Oh.
they outrank the others, more important people.
Oh.
And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak the son of Zippor, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me. For I will certainly honor you greatly, and I will do whatever you say to me. Therefore, please come, curse this people for me. Then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now therefore, please, you also stay here tonight, that I may know what more the Lord will say to me.
So he's
Another
not
gay
only-
orgy. Okay.
And not only a diviner, but he seems to be like a dream diviner.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. And God came to Balaam at night and said to him, I think that's what's going on here.
Wait, hold on. I wanna check this. What verse is that specifically?
We are now at 20, when God came to Balaam at night.
Okay. So let's see.
God wants to get in on the orgy as well.
I mean, don't we all? So let's see. 22:20. Okay. So this is E. This is the lowest.
Okay.
Yeah, this entire section so far. Everything about Balaam.
Got it. God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them. But only the word which I speak to you, that you shall do. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. Then God's anger was aroused because he went. What?
So he says, wait, what? Okay.
Did I miss something here?
No, you didn't miss anything.
Okay, so he says that go with
God
them.
is very passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to go jump back here. So, and God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men have come to call you, rise, go with them, but only do what I tell you.
Yeah.
So, he's going, right?
Yeah.
And then God's mad.
Immediately.
It's like, what? Okay.
That's
All right.
Dude, that's what you fucking told me to do. God damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, pun intended. All right. God's anger was aroused because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him, and he was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. Oh, this is interesting. There's echoes of Paul here. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. Angels need swords. It's
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
well known.
they need weapons. They're they're warriors.
Yeah, they can't just smack you and smash your skull. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that would be unfair.
arming an angel with a sword
That's fair.
is really a handicap. Hey, I'm just being nice. Okay. All right. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. The donkey said, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
So Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back onto the road. Interesting, it says her.
Mine says he smote the ass with a staff.
Smote the ass.
Hey, you know what? You know what? When you smite asses with stabs, sometimes it can be pretty good.
We have a club for that, and it's called the Princeton Club in Columbus, Ohio. Anyway, then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards with a wall on this side and a wall on that side?
So he was between 2 walls?
It's like that one
Being a written piece.
So the donkey ran down an alleyway, and
Yeah.
the angel teleported down the other side of the alleyway. This is like right out of Fright Night.
Yeah.
We can't get away from this vampire. This vampire.
It's like Jason Voorhees. You can run, and he'll just walk, but he'll beat you anyway.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, again, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. Ow! Oh, this is wild. Okay. Then the angel of the Lord, it's been a long time since I've read this. This is interesting. Then the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn, either to the right hand or to the left. How is that possible? If the donkey was already crushing his foot against the side of the wall, where could the angel go?
I don't know. He just
This doesn't make any sense.
He's an angel. He's a fucking angel. He just fucking booked it.
Talk about the other dimensions, the right and left-handed side.
Right. We're in six-dimensional de Sitter space or something. Okay.
Yes.
It's a Calabi-Yau
This is obviously
geography.
it's obviously what they were discussing.
Calabi-Yau topography. That's what we're in going here. Superstring theory. It's all allegory. It's ancient aliens.
Very good.
And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with his staff.
Wait, so this is
And for those who asked earlier, staves is the plural of staff in old ways of saying things. But
you said this was echoing something in Paul.
well, with him having the two servants with him during all of this encounter with divine being, right? So because it was, well, the legend is that Paul was on a horse or a donkey or something, but that's not in the book of Acts.
Oh.
But he is traveling with two servants. It's weird that they just mention that he has two servants with him, and suddenly they're like not really actors. This is really badly blocked action in this scene. Like you've introduced two other characters in the scene, and then forgotten to tell you what action they're performing during all of this other stuff.
They're just kind of there.
The script editor would be like, dude, what happened to those two? Why are those two people there, and where are they doing? What business are they performing?
Maybe they come in later.
All right, we'll find out.
Yeah.
And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with a staff again. There's doing a lot of beating of this donkey.
Yeah.
Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times?" The answer,
this
of course,
is the
is that you crushed my frickin' foot. But
That's
anyway.
right. This is the talking donkey thing.
Yep.
I
And
remember this now. Okay.
Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have abused me."
Yeah.
I wish there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you.
Wow.
See, this is how.
That's a little extreme.
Thus triggering self-defense principle, and the donkey now may kill Balaam, bit his head off. No, I'm sorry, that's not in here. Okay.
Oh.
This is how normal.
That'd be great.
This is how
And
normal.
yells, "Don't tread on me."
This is how normal.
The talking
Donkeys
It's the
were.
talkie donkey.
The dude just talks right back.
Yep. Yeah, right. Because like there's no like description of like
Wow,
and
a talking
Balaam
donkey.
freaked the fuck out that the donkey was suddenly talking to him. Yeah, right. Like whoa, wait, who said that? The donkey? Oh! Here's a carrot. Okay, so the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden ever since I became yours to this day? Was I ever disposed to do this to you?" And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. So apparently Balaam has not seen this the whole time. This begins the legend that if you look through the ears of an animal, you can see ghosts,
Oh.
supposedly.
Is that a legend?
That is a legend, yeah. Usually cats. So you're supposed to look through the behind a cat, look through its head, between its ears. It allows you to see ghosts.
What?
Yes, this is a whole...
I bet it's true.
What? I never heard that. Before. Are you making shit up?
Nope, that's true. That was that was part of old lore.
Chris
about
has a
ghost lore.
cat upstairs, so
I've never heard this before.
you guys want to start a ghost
Ghost hunting
detectives?
with a cat
Yeah.
instead of those e-meters or whatever. You got a cat. This would be the most hilarious
the
ghost
EMFs,
hunter
yeah.
video ever. They're like holding this cat that's.
Yeah.
And then the cat moves his head. And
Oh, I
he's
see
like, "No,
something!
fuck
I see-
And then the cat gets pissed off and runs away.
He
Right.
starts hissing at you.
Scratches you. Yeah. Okay. So the Lord opened the Balaam's eyes, and he finally sees the angel. And which is what the donkey should have said. "Don't you see the damn angel with the frickin' sword and shit? I'm trying to get away from him." Okay. And he bowed his head and fell flat on his face, Balaam does. And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times?" "That's because you asshole, you weren't appearing to me, and the donkey started acting weird. What else was I supposed to do?" But anyway, that's not in here. Okay, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have..."
Behold!
That's weird. It says "behold" here, but "look" back there. That
Yeah.
couldn't be consistent. All right. "Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would have also have killed you by now, and let her live."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
This is the villain explaining
This is
their
the weirdest
plan.
scene. Like, if this was actually shown in a movie, this would be really weird. I'm just saying. This whole conversation.
Oh, it
Yeah.
wouldn't make any sense.
And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way against me." I like how you don't, lack of knowledge is still establishes guilt. Like I didn't even know I was committing a crime. Oh, I'm so guilty.
Well, like in Leviticus, they give rules for people who sin but don't know that they've sinned, and say that you should sacrifice animals. But if you don't know that you've sinned, how would you know how many animals to sacrifice and what type?
You'd have to go to the priesthood because they're supposed to do it anyways, and then you go to them, and then they would tell you what to sacrifice.
And then they would eat what they want of your sacrifice.
And then
Grab your bird, bite its head off, and okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So, let's see. Blah blah blah. I have sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way against me. Now, therefore, if it displeases you, I will turn back. Then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, seriously? Okay. All right. Follow this plot with me, people. Follow me. After all of this, then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, that you shall speak.
So Balaam
What was this whole business with the sword standing in my way?
That had nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
And this entire thing was written by the same author,
Yes.
apparently.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like
He's some rambling weirdo who can't write consistent narratives.
I
but
think
anyway.
Balaam is like a paranoid schizophrenic, right?
No, the author is, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Balaam is. Yeah, all his two servants this whole time are like watching all this. They don't see the angel. They don't know what the hell's going on. Why are you talking to your donkey? What the hell?
Now, what it could be, and I've been reading some papers on this, is that so the documentary hypothesis is like the main thing, like the crux of the scholarship on this, and it's kind of the basis for everything, but it's incomplete. It's you know how like Darwin's theory of evolution, it was in its premises and its generalization was correct, but we have since found things out. We've added on to we've added on to it. So there are theories about like J1, J2, and J3, like 3 different J authors, and like E1 and E2 and E3 and so on.
Yeah, that's just like Q theory. It gets really ridiculously elaborate.
Q theory is really strange. I think
that's getting too speculative, the whole J1, J2, J3 thing. But
yeah, like it's kind of weird. Like I see how they break things down, and I can kind of see the argument.
Whereas Occam's razor would just land you at Jay was an idiot. Jay was a bad author.
That's true.
Jay was like bottom shelf fiction writer. You know, it's like
Twilight.
No, this is
or even below Twilight.
This is E.
Oh.
This is E. I think J is the better fiction.
Oh,
writer,
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Jay is the better author.
Yeah.
Tumblr of DeviantArt.
The Tumblr of Deviant. Wait.
All right.
The Tumblr.
That doesn't really
of
make a lot of
Deviant
sense.
Art.
You don't understand how bad that is.
What? But they're 2 different websites.
Tumblr's already bad,
No.
and DeviantArt would be
Putting them
worse.
together.
Yeah.
Putting them
Way
together
worse.
would be very bad. Yes.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
destroying
Fine.
it.
Anyways,
Yeah, okay. All right, blah, blah, blah. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. All this is pointless. You could have erased all of this from the Bible. It wouldn't have made any sense. Now, when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the border of the Arnon, as previously mentioned. But anyway, the boundary of the territory. There's a lot of repetition in the Bible.
Yeah.
Then Balak said to Balaam, did I not earnestly send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you? I mean, and Balaam says, I'm fucking here. What's your problem?
There was a fucking angel in my way.
Which took all of 5 minutes. Like, why is he all like, you're 5 minutes late
Look,
in a
my
land
donkey's
of
been
donkey
talking.
transport?
Donkey's been talking to me.
Donkey's been talking.
Really, she's having some issues.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. And Balaam said to Balak, look,
Behold.
I have come to you.
Behold.
I like how he says
Behold.
this. Yeah. He actually says the thing that I thought he would say. Look, I've come to you.
mine doesn't say
Now,
behold.
have I
Mine
any
says
power at
behold.
all to say anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that I must speak. So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath Huzoth. That sounds like a spell. Kirjath Huzoth.
It is
All
a
right.
spell. This is a magical.
Then
book of
Balak
spells.
offered oxen and sheep. Then Balak offered oxen and sheep, and he sent some to Balaam and to the princes who were with him. He's trying to bribe him. I don't know how this would work. But anyway, so it was the next day that Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the high places of Baal, that from there he might observe the extent of the people.
So what's really interesting, I want to point this out in this translation. So, and in the morning, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to Bamoth Baal. So it seems like, because yours just said high places, and there were lots of high places.
Yeah.
They were fucking everywhere. So it's interesting. I don't know if this is a specific one, or I mean, I don't understand Hebrew, so it says Bamoth Baal. So there might be a specific temple to Baal at a.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So that's really the only note I had on that. That's all the chapters for today, and we got 25 people watching. That's I think our most, right?
All right.
No.
Well,
Close.
we might have
Close.
been higher
It's-
at one
We
point.
might have been higher at one
We
point.
might have gotten you higher. I didn't know we did this live. I could have put out a call on social media.
It's
but-
all right. I did that, and I don't know if it helped. So that's mostly going to be the end of the show. Just some last minute things. Richard, thank you so much for coming on and being in town. And before you guys go, smash that like button. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it because more viewer engagement means more showing up in suggested feeds.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right.
it's great. So other than that, you've been traveling a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of tours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for folks who are interested in that, by the way, like always check my website or join, like follow me on Facebook or follow me on Twitter. You'll get my announcements as to where I am. I'm going to even like obscure towns sometimes. So
Like
like I
Milwaukee.
might come through your town. So if you're interested, like keep an eye on my feeds. You might see me. You might be able to come hang out with me and have a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to kind of bounce off of that, so after we're done here, we are going to do a Hot Ones style interview. So if you guys have not seen the show Hot Ones, it's on the YouTube channel First We Feast. They do a interview over hot wings. They eat progressively hotter wings, and it's a fantastic show. It throws people off their balance. They become more open. Really, kind of like when someone's drunk, they're really their inhibitions are lowered, and they just kind of say stuff. So that's kind of the whole point of the show. So we're doing a Hot One style interview, and that's not going to be live streamed, but we are going to be recording that obviously, and that's going to be up on the channel at some point. So I'm very excited about that. And that's where we're going to talk about like the more serious stuff. Like I saw people in the chat saying, like asking about Paul's Jesus and the historicity of Jesus. So we're going to talk about that
that'll
stuff.
come up. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll definitely come up. So thank you everybody for joining us.
I'll have one more thing to mention for those who are interested. I actually just started this month my online course on historical methods for critical thinking for everyone, about how to look at historical claims and things like that. So those who are interested in that, like go to my website, check out richardcarrier.info, and join the class. And the next month, starting June, I'm going to do the historicity of Jesus, a whole course on that, where we're going to look at all the best arguments for and against, and go through my book on the historicity of Jesus like a textbook. So those who really want to like examine all these questions, ask all the questions you have, really dig into what is the best evidence on both sides, that course in June is going to be right up your alley. So look into that too.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic book, by the way. I saw people saying that they just purchased it, or they were going to purchase it.
Oh,
It's
and for this month, May, I'd use Proving History as the course text for historical methods. So
Right.
notice some
Yeah,
people are
both of
mentioning
those. Yeah, Proving History and On the Historicity of Jesus. Get those. They are fantastic. I use them as source material quite a lot. And other than that, definitely drop a like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this stuff. And we also have a Patreon where you can
Get all sorts of fancy rewards for your financial contributions.
Yeah, you get a lot of cool stuff. For like the $1 reward, you get all the behind the scenes stuff that we post. For the $5 reward, you get all the behind the scenes stuff. Plus, you get a copy of every book we here at Milwaukee Atheists publishes. So there's one book you will automatically get once your payment goes through. It's the book I've already written. And then the one I'm currently writing is going to be huge, by the way. That one, you'll get that one as a part of your reward. A lot of people seem to like that specific reward.
Patreon is awesome in general. Like
Yeah.
it's what allows niche scholars and producers and content providers to make a living without going through like the really difficult monetization models of where you have advertisers, shit that annoys everybody basically.
Yeah.
So if you want this stuff to exist, just the fact for it to exist for other people to enjoy and for yourself, like throw $1 a month or $4 a month or whatever on
Yeah.
Patreon. I have a Patreon too, but I think that's for every content provider that you like. Look to see if they have a Patreon and support them, because you can support them for like really small amounts of money, but all of it adds up. So
Yeah.
the more people who support
It all adds up.
programs like this and everything else,
It is super helpful. And
then we can say that we were brought to you by viewers like.
That's right.
Like it. Yeah, and remember, if
actually,
you,
yes.
Yeah. And,
Don't even need to joke about it. That's actually true.
And the link to the Patreon is in the description, along with our Teespring, where you can get all the T-shirts and stuff. And by the way, $50 or more patrons, that's a limited spot, but you get to be on the show once a month.
Yep.
So it's I think a good way to potentially get your stuff out there.
That's a great idea. I like that. Yeah.
So that is all for today, I think. Stay tuned for me being on the Non Sequitur show, debating the flood. So other than that, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
And we'll have tons of videos for you in the meantime anyway,
Yeah.
so